What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing today? Hope everyone had a legendary week. We're broadcasting live from beautiful downtown San Jose here. Look how beautiful my city is. It's like y'all have like 3 feet of snow on the ground, and I'm living in a city where it's like 70 degrees outside. So that's why I live in California. That's why we pay all that big money. So today, we're not going to do that long of a show, but there have been a couple big announcements that we have for Niner Faithful Radio. But also today, there's been some cool things that have happened within the Niner Empire that I thought that we should address. But before we get into that, I'd like to remind everybody to join our Patreon's reward program. For as little as $1 a month, you can get special perks like 10% off Niner Faithful Radio shop, an invite to join me on a segment of Niner Faithful Radio, and much, much more. Go ahead and visit patreon.com/Niner Faithful Radio. You can find us as a podcast on Apple Podcasts and everywhere that podcasts are found, as well as YouTube and NinerFaithfulRadio.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we upload. Also, go ahead and shop Niner Faithful Radio shop at NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop to buy officially licensed Niner gear from shop49ers.com, fanatics.com, NFLshop.com, Target, eBay, and much, much more. Go ahead and visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop or like us on Facebook, Instagram at Niner Faithful Radio, or on Twitter at Niner Faithful RS. Okay, now that that's over, hello, Jamie. Hello, Kim. How y'all doing? Good to see y'all. Thank y'all for joining me today. We're going to go ahead and pop up their comments because I like that. I think that's so cool. And then Kim said hi to Jamie too. That's nice. See, that's what I want to create. I want to create a community because, of course, as we all know, the goal of Niner Faithful Radio is to unite the Niner Empire, not divide. That's why we don't talk cap on the show. I personally support Kaepernick's, protests and all that, but Niner Faithful Radio is about focusing on the team and what unites us and not divides us. You feel me? Okay, so I thought today my Empire Mama, hi Mama, had shared a story to me, and also my boy Nate. Big shout out to my boy Nate Payne, who runs Remember the Stick Facebook group, shared it into the group. Eddie D has officially received a presidential pardon for his involvement in the gambling case in Louisiana that took place in the 90s. So that I thought that's really, really cool. Ronnie Lott and Jerry Rice both spoke at, the little ceremony thing that they had. But I think Eddie D is really deserving of getting that dismissed. He basically got charged with not reporting a felony. So how I translate it to people who speak like me, he basically got in trouble for not snitching. I mean, that's basically what it was. He didn't report a felony, so basically he didn't snitch. And so he got caught up. That's, of course, why he had to transfer the ownership of the team or at least his part of ownership of the team to Denise. And as we all know, the rest is history. Also, another thing that we want to make sure that we mention today is happy birthday to a man who needs no introduction, Mr. Niner. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this man is the definition of N4L. He's the definition of Niner for life, Mr. Bob Sinclair. Bob Sinclair was born today. We want to wish him a happy birthday. He literally played his whole football career in the city of San Francisco, minus college because, San Francisco State didn't have a football team at the time. But happy birthday, Mr. Sinclair. And so a big discussion that I've seen around a lot of Facebook groups and I've had with, people in the Niner Faithful Radio messaging group, All My Fam, uh, is whether or not we keep Emmanuel Sanders. And me personally, I'm not going to be held hostage. I do think that, people are looking at it as, oh, he's 32 years old. Yeah, but you know what? He blew by that defensive back, that pass. I mean, he got wide open. He was wide open in the Super Bowl for that last play. And so, I mean, I I'm all for it. I'm not going to be held hostage. So if he wants a big contract, if he expects the Niners to get in a bidding war for his services, I tip my cap, say thank you. You should be a superhero like JT for what you did for the Niner Empire. You should have caught that touchdown, and the rest would have been history. Thank you so much for your services. Yes, of course, Jamie. I totally agree with you. She says keeping Sanders depends on the price. To be honest, I totally agree. If he wants to be reasonable, I'd give him a 2-year contract. Hey, you know what? You want to stick around for another 2-year seasons? I'm all for that. But if it comes, I put higher priorities for our offseason than getting a wide receiver. Now, I understand a lot of the pushback I've heard is we all assume that Marquise Goodwin is not going to be on the team this year. You're basically looking at house money with Dante Pettis. I mean, I don't think many people are expecting much from Dante Pettis. Not saying that Dante can't have a great year. I love El Gato. I would love nothing more than El Gato having a huge year. When I met him at training camp, when I got his autograph at training camp, I asked him if he liked the nickname El Gato. I was like, what do you think about the nickname El Gato? And he's like, I like it. So I love Dante. Great young man, talented beyond all belief, but I just don't see it in him. Now, that's not to say that it's not in him. That's not saying, hey, you know what, being essentially benched, for half the season. I mean, that would probably motivate a lot of people. So I'm not expecting big things from Dante Pettis. I mean, as we all know, I went out on a limb and said that I expected him to have a big Super Bowl and make an impact in the Super Bowl. And that shows you kind of how much I know because he was benched. And so if being benched in the biggest game of his career didn't motivate him and wake him up, then honestly, nothing will. So I understand that receiver may very well be a need of the team. And I understand that we know what the receiving core was. And let's not forget that, Kendrick Bourne's a restricted free agent. I think Kendrick Bourne's coming back. I think Shanahan really loves him. And so I don't see a team really, because we're obviously going to tender him, a 3rd-round pick, maybe a 4th-round tender on him. And personally, I don't see a team giving up a 4th-round pick for Kendrick Bourne. So, I mean, I see Kendrick Bourne coming back. So I understand, and I want Kim go ahead and say that I think Emmanuel Sanders proved himself to the Niners, and he can run our routes. He is Jimmy go-to players. Now, that is a very good point, Kim. Him and Jimmy did seem to have quite a connection. And, it wasn't no secret that especially in that the Veterans Day night game in Levi Stadium against the Seahawks, was pretty obvious our offense was struggling when Emmanuel Sanders got hurt. That's the game he actually fractured his ribs. So I like him. I think the Niners want to sign him. But let me ask you all this watching the show right now, and if you watch the replay, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Would you have Emmanuel Sanders or Eric Armstead? Would you rather have Emmanuel Sanders or Matt Breida? I mean, it's going to start getting would you rather have Emmanuel Sanders or secure an extension for DeForest Buckner? I obviously I know that George Kittle is free or in the last year of his contract, and I'm not questioning that. We will get a George Kittle extension done. I have no doubt in my mind about that. That's too much of a high priority for the franchise not to get our I mean, really, arguably our best player, definitely by far our best player on offense, that George Kittle isn't going anywhere. Yeah, I would believe he'd be a career Niner. If not, then majority of his career will be in the red and gold. So I think basically to sum up my point about this is I believe that Emmanuel Sanders is a priority. I would have him over Matt Breida, but I'm not gonna do it at the expense of getting a contract done for Eric Armstead or extensions for George Kittle or DeForest Buckner. But you know, if the contract for him is comparable to AJ Green. I know a lot of faithful have been saying AJ Green. I mean, personally, I'd rather have Emmanuel Sanders. AJ Green's hurt all the time. I mean, you can make an argument that Emmanuel was hurt, but he played through it. He played through a lot of it. He missed very few games. And also, man played in 17 games. I mean, he played in 20 games this season. So, I mean, that's saying something. But also, if all things are created equal as far as contract and maybe even talent-wise, I'd rather always stick with the player that I've seen on the roster. I've seen Emmanuel Sanders in our offense. I've seen his chemistry with Jimmy. He knows the playbook. We know his worth ethic. The coaches love him. I mean, all those things, when you're talking about the kind of culture that it's been very obvious that Linehan's trying to build around this team, to me, keeping that culture is very important. And I mean, you see it all the time with the Niners of the 80s and the 90s. It's like a brotherhood. I mean, you saw what all his teammates did for Dwight Clark. Rest in peace. We love you, DC. But yeah, exactly, Kim. I mean, Kittle's too crucial not to be a Niner. He can block as well as be a tight end. I mean, I think she means being a receiving tight end. But exactly. I mean, he's our best player. He's probably one of the top 5, maybe top 10. I'd probably put him up in top 5 for best players in the NFL. I mean, who's really better than George Kittle? I mean, on the offensive side, I don't want to hear about Travis Kelce. Fuck Travis Kelce. I'm so over him, bruh. Okay, Cruz Faba. No more Travis Kelce talk. Anyway, Jamie, of course, Green is hurt too much. It would be too much money for injury-prone player. Exactly, and we don't even know what he would look like in the offense. I've heard he's I'm good. Give me Emmanuel Sanders. Look, if in a 3 wide receiver set next year, yeah, no, it's all good, Kim. If we start this season in a nickel, 3 wide receiver trip set, if our starting receivers are Emmanuel Sanders, Debo, and Kendrick Bourne, I have no problem with that. I would like to think it's going to we're going to at least draft somebody. I mean, I see it happening just because, Shanahan likes his receivers. I kind of think it's a little excess to take, receiver three drafts in a row. But don't be surprised if we at least add some competition to the room this year. Jamie, yeah, Kittle's deal's getting done this offseason. SF isn't going to let him go anywhere. No. I mean, John Lynch in his end of the year press conference pretty much said that it's priority number 1 getting a contract extension done for George Kittle. Yes. Thank you, Jamie, so much. She just said we also have Trent Taylor and Jalen Hurd coming back from injury this season. Yes, do not underestimate the impact that Trent Taylor can have in this offense. It to me, one of the most heartbreaking things of this season was not seeing Trent Taylor on the football field. He was having an amazing camp, and he was just getting open and catching everything thrown at him at practice. And now that we know how good the D was, how good our secondary played, number one pass secondary in the league, and Trent Taylor's getting open against them, man, get up out of here. Man, So yeah, I definitely see Jordan Matthews. I don't really see Jordan Matthews playing a role. I mean, if he stays on the team, he's a camp body, and one of those, hey, in case we need to call somebody off the streets, stay ready type of players. But yeah, obviously Trent Taylor is a little, um, you know, Trent Taylor would be to give you a little sneak peek. Trent Taylor, it wouldn't surprise me if Trent Taylor is actually a surprise cut this year, which breaks my heart because I love Trent Taylor and I think that he could be a great receiver. I mean, we've seen it, but he might just be a little injury prone. But we'll see. We'll see. We haven't even started OTAs. We haven't even seen him on the field. So I want to get, too ahead in cutting players. But yeah. And I mean, Jalen Hurd, we all saw that play against the Cry Girls. I mean, that literally made him jump on our seats. And so, Faithful, Safam, could you imagine Jalen Hurd and Debo on the field at the same time? My mind is blown. Oh yeah. We're going to be a team to contend with this year coming up. Also, yeah, I think we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. And I mean, that's not just we made it last year. No, I think we're actually going to be a better team this year than next year because I mean, they say a player takes the most growth between year 1 to year 2. So you're having Debo enter year 2. You're having Nick Bosa enter year 2. You're having now Jalen Hurts a little different because he wasn't on the field last year, but this team is young, and you're starting to see us mature and get experience. And Travarius Moore is I'm expecting big things from him this coming up season. I might actually think that Travarius Moore might make Jimmy Ward expendable. Now, I don't really see that happening. I see Jimmy Ward coming back. But if he doesn't come back, I wouldn't be surprised if Travarius Moore is the starter. Now, you can make an argument on whether that makes us the best if that's our best secondary or not. But, we'll see. But yeah, so to basically ask anybody's question, and I think you either have two camps of, oh my God, we're screwed if Emmanuel Sanders doesn't come back. And, he was a rental player, tip your hat and say, thanks for the memories. I think that we could be in between. I'd love to have him back. I want Emmanuel Sanders back. Our wide receiver core is in good hands without him, barring Jalen Hurd coming back healthy, barring Trent Taylor coming back healthy, maybe even adding a receiver in the draft. And Lynchahan, I trust, and I tip my cap to him. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. We have some big things coming from Niner Faithful Radio for the first episode of season 4. We're going to have a whole new layout. I mean, everything's going to look dope. I'm working very, very hard to see. Jamie and Kim, of course, have seen some of the things that I've done, that I shared in our the Niner Faithful Radio team message chat on Facebook. Y'all are going to see them soon. It's going to be awesome. I promise. Hi, Alicia. I got my homegirl in the studio with me. She's watching how your boy gets down. But so I shall see y'all next week. Same faithful time, same faithful channel. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners. Oh yeah, also I want to please check out all our awesome blogs written by Jamie, Juan, and Everett, and at NinerFaithfulRadio.com. I'd also like to thank all them for their very hard work in helping Niner Faithful Radio continue to grow. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all. I shall see y'all next week. Faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners. So